So, you're probably wondering two things. One, why is the lighting in my room so shitty? Well, unfortunately, during a filming incident in my latest, in the review that's upcoming, my lamp that I was using for lighting got irreparably damaged, and now I have to junk it. So, yeah, sorry about that. Nothing I can do. You're just gonna have to live with the shadows under my eyes. The second thing you're wondering is, for like the 5 people that watch me religiously or something, why I haven't come out with one of these vlogs in a while. There are a few reasons. One is that I just haven't gotten a chance to go out to the movies. I've missed out on a lot. I haven't seen The Artist. I haven't seen The Muppets. I hadn't seen Hugo until this month. There's just a lot of things I missed out on. And second is that these vlogs make so little that, from the $10 it takes to pay for a movie ticket to, the 5 cents I get from the vlog, it's almost not worth it. Third is I'm super self-conscious when I go on these tangents or these just streams of consciousness. But, whatever. I figured I'd get back into this again. One more reason I usually don't is I've noticed that I sometimes don't see movies right when they come out, such as the case with Hugo. And by the time, after a certain point, there's just no point in making a vlog. I was gonna do one on Paranormal Activity 3, but, then I got sick, and then it's not really much to go on. But I figured I'd dip right in to The Hunger Games. Now, I haven't read the books, but honestly, for what I saw, I really liked it. I really liked it. I've heard all the comparisons, Battle Royale, Running Man, and all that. Well, I haven't seen those, so I don't give a rat's fuck. Okay, you can keep your Battle Royale, whatever. I have The Hunger Games, and you know what? I like it. I like it a lot. And, I'm gonna keep this short because I'm just rambling about something I actually like, so there probably won't be a lot of jokes, but when I got into the theater, I was actually really shocked because half of the theater were women, and for an action movie, that's just unheard of. This whole thing is supposed to be huge. Everyone's talking about these books, and I just feel so bad that I haven't gotten to it, but I'm reading American Gods, and when you're comparing anything to Neil Gaiman's gonna win. But yeah, so, okay, so what's the story? It's basically, there's this dystopian future, there's 12 districts and a capital full of rich people, and every year, 2 people from the districts are selected, and to participate in the Hunger Games. So basically you got 24 kids fighting to the death. And from District 12, you've got Katniss Everdeen and Peeta. And, inevitably they'll have to kill each other because there's only one victor. But some stuff starts to get a little complicated, and I don't really want to give anything away, because I do like this movie. I'm not going to spoil anything if I like the movie. Yeah. So, I suppose I should just get one thing out of the way. Jennifer Lawrence, the main actress, she is becoming my favorite young woman actress, because, she is just great in everything she's in. This is the woman that makes caretaking look badass. And, yeah, in this, I gave a shit about her. I mean, she's not as good as she was in Winter is Bone, but, to be honest, Winter is Bone is just, it's hard to top that one. I mean, I almost hesitate to say that this might be her weakest performance, but even so, it's still good, and I'm still invested in this character of Katniss. I don't really know what to go into about that, but the one character I had some issue with was PETA, and the only issue there was that I couldn't figure out where he was coming from. Like, at first he seemed really nervous and brooding, and then when he gets to the Capitol, he's like super excited, he's like putting on a show for the crowd, and then he does something in the Hunger Games that's like, it seems very out of character for him, and like, I can't tell if he's shy, or outgoing, or like self-serving, or like, I can see all of where it's coming from. Like, I know why he does what he does. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to judge because it felt like there was no one tone he was setting. But yeah, like, so I'm sure you all know right now, but this whole thing about the Hunger Games is a satire of, you know, reality TV and the glamorization of violence and stuff like that. I think the best description I've ever heard of the Hunger Games is, it's like the real world, except the cast of Jersey Shore has bows and arrows. And that's pretty apt, though, to be honest. I don't think the cast of the Jersey Shore could pull off what these kids did. Like, these kids were badasses. Like, in their training and in the games themselves, they're just like, holy shit, these kids are amazing. And I don't know if they were all memorable, because there's 24 kids and, you know, you've only got an hour and a half and 2 hours or something like that to go through this battle to the death, so you can't invest in every character. But they do leave an impression. Like, this one kid, this little, like, 12-year-old black kid named Rue, she's a fucking badass. Like, damn. Like, that's the kid you want as your little sister or as your daughter. Just, like, this awesome girl that's, like, really quick and nimble and, like, can climb things. I'm describing Spider-Man, but you know what? I don't care. Black Spider-Girl. There, I said it. Flame me. Political correctness not found. But, yeah, this is a very bleak world that we're given. And honestly, I think I would have liked to see a bit more of it. Like, I get that the districts are impoverished, and we do see that, but I don't know. Like, Movie Bob actually brought this up, and I kind of agree, but at the same time... okay, I'll explain this. He said, like, he wished he could see the reactions of the audiences back home, the districts, to gauge what effect this is having on them. Yes, I do see his point, and it's a good point. That would have kind of strengthened the movie a bit. But from my own perspective, I don't think we needed it, because this is Katniss's story. And really, that's all we needed to see. Like, from what I understand, the books are in first person. I heard someone say first person present tense. Maybe they're wrong. I don't know. That sounds weird. But, you know, I guess, you know, it's Katniss's story. And it's good to see how she's affecting people. And we do see that. But, you know, again, movie time, you gotta adapt and compress. The one thing that's bugged me, actually, is the arena that they're fighting in. Because they're dropped... The Hunger Games take place in, like, this giant forest place. And that's fine, you know. They're in a natural area, they've got to rely on the elements, but I guess the people in the Capitol have some control over it. Like, they can, like, the cameras I can get. Like, even the natural disasters also I can get. You know, you can have fire rigs or something, so you can simulate a forest fire. But then they just manufacture these beasts from the ground. And they say something like, we need an illusion or something. And that kind of confused me, because these things were doing actual harm to people and physically affecting them. And that just seemed weird. Like, what are they, keeping them in cages underground? I mean, you know, I know we've got PETA in the games, but is PETA speaking out for the animals or something. I don't know. And then there was something weird where, like, at night, the sky was like a light grid dome where they could display the fallen and stuff. Or, not the fallen, the contestants that got killed. And I was just never sure what was going on there. I don't know if this is explained in the book, but yeah. So where to go from here? Okay. Well, so we got that, and I gotta say something. I kind of take a little issue with people saying, like, oh, you know, bloodless violence and all that. Like, yeah, I get it. It's PG-13, and you can't show, like, excessive gore. But at the same time, it's not really bloodless. I mean, yeah, when someone gets stabbed, it's not gushing. But, like, the part that made me give a shit about the movie, well, a little more so, was during the beginning where they're being transported to the Capitol, and Katniss is watching this video of a previous Hunger Game, and this kid just beats in the head of another contestant with a brick, and there's blood on that brick, okay? So don't talk to me about bloodless violence, okay? There's blood where there needs to be, and honestly, the books are for young adults, like, okay? And I get it, you know, bloodless violence is a bad idea, because, you know, it puts, I don't know, it's like, they don't like bloodless violence because it sends a bad message to the young people, or, like, it makes them think that violence is glamorous. Like, horse shit, okay? Kids aren't stupid. I wouldn't trust them to build a rocket, but honestly, come on. Like, this is the same kind of bullcrap I hear about, like, video games causing violence and all that, or, like, Power Rangers, getting people to beat each other up. Like, it's complete horseshit, okay? So don't bring that to my door. Okay, so side characters, all pretty good. The costumes are unbelievable. Like, I hesitate to call them great, because they're kind of weird for the sake of being weird, but at the same time, that still leaves an impact on you. Like, I think this is actually the first film I've seen, the first blockbuster film that tries to incorporate postmodernism into its design. And, you know, I'm not gonna buy the dresses they had in the Capitol, or the suits they had, but they were still interesting to look at. The one guy who headed the games, I want to know who the fuck styles his beard, because, like, he's got this little stubble that's sculpted, like, there's little waves and rings around it. Like, I mean, yeah, who does that? I want to know, because, like, just imagine going into the stylist and, like, getting the right amount of stubble and just stylizing it so perfectly that there are actual henna spirals or something in your made of your stubble. Yeah, like, you know, postmodern fashions. You can't argue with them, because really, what sense do they fucking make anyway? But while we're on the subject of the capital characters and the side characters, the one guy that really stole this show was Stanley Tucci as this announcer guy. I don't think his character was fleshed out very much, but he just commanded the presence in every scene he was in. Like, he is the one thing that I will never forget from this movie. Though, one thing I did think was a little weird was, during the Hunger Games, they cut back to him and he's like, ooh, watch this. There's like, she's on a tracker jacker nest. And it just felt kind of weird because, you know, he's there for exposition. And that just felt, you know, I get it. It's necessary. It's still weird to... That's why. Because I know he's there for exposition. And it's kind of immersion breaking. Just a little bit. And if I had one other complaint, it's actually not that big a deal. It's a minor nitpick, but in the Hunger Games, sometimes people befriend each other, and you gotta wonder why. Because they know they're gonna have to kill each other. Now, the reason they do this, of course, is because these characters are still human, and, you know, human is nothing if not a group, a social animal. And, you know, holding on to a friendship is just a sign of the humanity. And really, that's one of the reasons I like Katniss so much. I mean, she's a great role model for girls to look up to, you know, compared to that other that other chick, to censor myself for an even nastier word that we shall not mention, from Twilight. But yeah, it's actually kind of funny because I think Katniss is basically Wonder Woman in her best form. Like, she's a great fighter, and she's compassionate, and just like very, very, very much has a heart. And that's one thing I'll say about the Hunger Games, is it had a lot of heart, and that's what made me enjoy it so much. Though I think the action scenes aren't all they could have been because of the shaky cam. Oh my god, the shaky cam. Like, that cameraman had fucking epilepsy or something, because this is the Hunger Games fight scene sometimes. They're like, Inception. But yeah, like, honestly, you could have stood to have a tripod in there. Wouldn't have hurt. That said, though, Hunger Games gets a thumbs up from me. Maybe even 2. And after I read American Gods, I think I will read the books. I heard the 3rd book is a little like, it doesn't really tie up all the loose ends. But hey, guess what? Now the Hunger Games fans and the Mass Effect fans have something in common. Alright. So, that's me signing off. Happy Hunger Games, and may the odds be ever in your favor.